when women can't get a commitment from Alpha Chad and Alpha Tyrone, they look for Beta Brad and Beta Jerome. So these terms, Alpha and Beta, they're placeholder terms because no guy is solely an Alpha or solely a Beta. It depends on the room you're in, the circumstance, the perspective of the woman involved, because you can be considered Beta in the eyes of one woman and Alpha in the eyes of another based on the timing of how you met her, your age, the circumstance, the relative finances you have compared to someone else. So like a six-figure earner could be considered alpha in a room full of minimum wage workers, but maybe he's beta in a room full of billionaires. So it's context, it's fluid, and so every guy is going to be under these terms depending on the woman and the timing of it. There's no like 100% alpha, 100% beta, but using the placeholder terms, a woman, she's going to look for Alpha Chad, Alpha Tyrone, and if she can't get the commitment from them and lock them down, she's going to revert to Beta Brad and Beta Jerome. And so you've got to understand that you don't want to be Beta Brad or Beta Jerome. You don't want to be the backup plan. You don't want to be the fallback option. You don't want to be the, oh, well, I got to find somebody because my fertility is running out, my time is running out, my biological clock is ticking in, and I don't want to have a life of just working bad jobs and not being able to take care of myself financially, so I'm just going to look for whatever guy is available. You don't want to be that guy that's getting that end of the stick, like the girl at the end of her party years, or like now you're a good option because you have money, or like she gives it away for free to other guys and you're the guy that ends up paying for it. You don't want to be that guy. So you got to understand that the woman's going to look for Alpha Chad or Alpha Tyrone, and if she can't get the commitment from Alpha Chad or Alpha Tyrone, then she's going to look for Beta Brad or Beta Jerome. And even too, like these terms Chad and Tyrone, even if she gets a commitment from a Chad or Tyrone, this is the irony of it, is that her wanting the guy she can't have, once she has the guy, once she's married him or locked him down or secured him or had sex with him, she feels like she's conquered that. So what's the next conquest? So even a Chad or a Tyrone, even if he gets married to her or has a relationship or has sex, she's always going to be looking at that next option, right? Because even if the guy's considered a Chad or a Tyrone to her, there's other Chads, there's other Tyrones. So you're never going to be the end-all be-all as a guy. You're never going to be the only person that she's looking at, the only guy that she's interested in. She's always going to be weighing her options. She's always going to have one foot in the door, one foot out the door. So you definitely want to be aware of this stuff. You want to understand the difference between how she's viewing alpha and beta, because when you're getting into situations with women, especially if you're going to commit, if you're going to do something long term, you don't want to be this backup plan guy. So the older she gets, you got to take into consideration that you aren't the first person, the first guy that she's ever met. Right, like me at 26, a lot of people think that like this mid-20s time is like, oh, it's just like you're probably like looking for a girlfriend or a wife or thinking about family or kids, because that's just like the time in your life that people think you should be doing that. But if I meet a woman for the first time where she's 26, I'm not her first choice, right? There's years before that, up until this point in time, where what I currently have and like my current position is going to come into play with how she's viewing me. So even meeting like an awesome woman right now who's also 26 or the same age, yeah, like theoretically we could go the distance, and it makes the most sense long term, because then like people think, oh, you're gonna like die at a similar age, you're gonna live long together, grow old together, kind of thing. But if I meet her for the first time at 26, there's years before that. I'm not the first choice, right? So like if she's single at 26, she's been single up until this point. She's not currently locked down. She's not married. She doesn't have anything like long term. So like, what about the other guys before? Has she been weighing options of, right? Like, where do I fall in line in her assessment of those options? Am I just another candidate to see if I'm a good option? Am I just or am I the backup plan? Is like in the prior years before I met her, did something happen where she couldn't get the commitment from one guy, so I'm just like the provisioner. I'm just like the fallback plan, right? Like had I met her at 18, what would have transpired? Like, what about me at 26 makes it a better option or makes it work now, or in her mind, makes it think that we're going to be something going forward. So the older she gets, you've got to take caution of this stuff when it comes to long term and commitment, especially because you're expected to share your pot of gold, your resources, what you've earned in life so far. So knowing the trajectory of this, of male and female and masculine and feminine, you have that burden of performance, you have that burden of finances, the burden to be a man and to be somebody in the world, be a leader. So as you're ascending in the world, your options are increasing as a man. So you can't just like, if you started some kind of goal at 20 and you worked it for 10 years and now you're 30, don't let it go to your head in terms of, oh, all these women like me now, right? Like, think with this head, don't think with that head. Think with the big head, not the smaller head, right? Because it's natural to do that. Like, you're working your way up in the world and you're seeing that you're becoming more attractive and there's more options available to you as a man. But what you want to do is you want to get more selective. You don't want to play the whole game of, oh, I'm just going to have sex with whoever and be with as many girls as possible. As you've increased yourself, increased your physicality, your intelligence, your finances, your status as a man, as you're increasing that and you're seeing more options with women, you don't want to take it as, oh, I'm just going to see as many women as I can get. No, you want to take actually the opposite approach, and you want to be more selective of the women that you're inviting into your life. Because there's nothing wrong with like taking care of a woman if that's a woman that you want to take care of or spend resources on or take her on a date or whatever. But understand the frame involved with that. You don't want to be backup plan. You don't want to be a pit stop on her overall journey. If anything, you want to establish your own frame, your own career, your own finances, and have your rotation of women that off of what you're doing, like the byproduct of your life, like you're living your life, and not just a nice byproduct. It's just the cherry on top, right? It's the icing on the cake. You don't want to make women the cake. Women should be the icing on the cake. The cake should be your life. It should be yourself, your own career, your own state of mind, your own peace of mind, your finances, your spirituality, your sense of direction, your health. The stuff about you should be the cake. Women should be the icing on the cake. Because when it comes to how she's going to evaluate you, looks are going to be important, genetics are going to be important, sexual attraction is going to be important, as well as your finances, your resources, and what you can provide. So understand that 50-50 transaction, because like I said, it's all fluid. So it's not like you're going to start at the bottom of something and you're this guy that's been considered beta by a few women or whatever, and now you've worked up to a point where more women are attracted to you. And so a lot of guys get into this like, oh, they'll finally see the light in me. I'm gonna show all those girls that didn't like me in the past. And so this guy like builds himself up, and then now he gets married to like this hot girl or whatever in like his late 20s or his 30s, and he thinks, oh, this is gonna show all the girls that didn't like me in the past. But it's like, no, but you could still be the provider at that point, right? You could still be the beta provider, just because like you think that, like, this girl didn't show you interest at 20, now she's showing you interest at 29. Oh, I'm gonna show my ex because I'm with this girl now. Well, that new girl, you could also just be the beta provider, right? You just have the finances now. You just have like the status that she deems worthy. So, like I said, you want to have the mentality of not just getting as many girls as you can. Like, if you're increasing your status as a man, you want to be selective of who you're spending resources on and money on, and who you're having sex with. You want to be more selective about that. You don't want to, just because you have more options, you don't want to just necessarily use every option, right? You can leave some in the bank. You don't need to use all your options, right? Be more selective. Now that you've built yourself to that level, you want to maintain that level and possibly increase it even more going forward. So understanding that she can have these placeholder terms on you, Alpha Chad, Alpha Tyrone, Beta Brad, Beta Jerome. Like I said, just because a certain woman or women in the past might have seen you as Beta Brad or Beta Jerome, just because you've increased to a certain point, like say you were making minimum wage, weren't taking care of your health, weren't in shape in like your early 20s. You fix that, so now you're making like 50 grand a year. You're in better shape, in good health in like your mid 20s, and so in your mind, you think you went from beta to alpha. Well, the woman that you meet now that is attracted to you, you think that you've advanced to alpha status, but if she's with you now that you're making 50 grand a year now instead of minimum wage like you were in your early 20s, so you think you've jumped from beta to alpha. Well, if she's with you and she meets a guy making 6 figures, you're now beta again, right? It's always fluid. So don't think that you've ever graduated. Don't get complacent. Don't think that you're a 100% beta or a 100% alpha. Understand the fluid nature of that. Understand how that can change, and it's all about perspective of that woman and the timing and the circumstance. So the best strategy for this is to just work on yourself. Work on self-improvement. And yes, you can only self-improve to a certain point. So like anytime content creators talk about self-improvement, someone always says that, oh, that's not true because the 5'2" guy can't self-improve to like the level of the 6'5" guy. It's like, yeah, self-improvement to like what you can improve on. There's still like facts about you that you're not going to change. But like I said, then don't tie it to women or getting women or like the amount of women or whatever. Just like improve yourself for you. Don't get too caught up in whether you're a beta or an alpha, because nobody's a 100% alpha or beta. It's all fluid. Even the alpha chads and the alpha Tyrones, they can still get monkey branched from to other chads and Tyrones. They can still be subjected to a woman's hypergamy. So no matter how high you climb, even if you went from being homeless to being a 6-figure earner, you think, oh, I went from beta to alpha. Well, she could meet a millionaire, and now you're beta again. So understand, the woman's going to go for alpha Chad, alpha Tyrone, and if she can't, she's going to get beta Brad or beta Jerome.